Will you help me welcome to the stage in our RuralX fashion, Tim Lampkin. Come on. Bring him to the stage. Have fun, my friend.
Good afternoon. Before I begin my presentation, I just want to honor today that today is Juneteenth. And on this day in 1865, slaves in the Deep South actually became free. And being a descendant of slaves from the Deep South, I just really want to honor that. So thank you to my ancestors. Thank you to my mom, my grandmother. Thank you to my mentor, my late mentor, Reuben Smith, for this opportunity. So, my name is Tim Lampkin. I'm from Clarksdale, Mississippi. I have over 10 years of economic and community development experience. I know I don't look that age, but I believe that part of being in a community is also being a part of the solution. And so today we're going to talk about co-creating community-driven change. So a few fun facts about my hometown of Clarksdale, Mississippi. We're known for the home of the blues. So B.B. King, Muddy Waters, Robert Johnson, Ike Turner, Sam Cooke. All of those amazing people come from the Mississippi Delta. The other side that you should know is that we also have the highest concentration of poverty in our area. But besides all of that, we see our place, we see the Mississippi Delta as a land of opportunity, a land of prosperity, a land of hope, not only for our generation, but for the future generations to come. So back in 2016, I got together with a few people in our community and we started Higher Purpose Co. Higher Purpose Co. builds community wealth across Mississippi with Black residents by supporting the ownership of financial, cultural, and political power. We saw this need not only in our community, but across the entire state to become the change that we wanted to see. 3 parts of our work: asset building, narrative change, and advocacy. Our asset building work really focuses on 3 components: business ownership, home ownership, and land ownership. And our narrative change work really teaches our community members, our partners, how to really own their story and own their future. And our advocacy work really complements the 2 other program areas by really advocating for better policies on the local, state, and federal level. So, how do we do this work? We do this work by using a community engagement model, which I'm going to talk a little bit more about today. There are 3 parts of our community engagement model: community-driven, co-create, and connect. So how do we make sure that the work that we're doing is community-driven? So back last year, we created community wealth chats. These conversations focus not on creating individual wealth, but how do we talk about wealth in a way that it's beyond monetary? How do we talk about the assets in our community? How do we talk about what we do have? How do we talk about coming together as one to build up our community? We also have one-on-one conversations with the people that we're serving and also the people that we want to serve. And then finally, we do trust-based feedback. This is really essential to our work. This is kind of the bread and butter of our work, and also allows us to create deep relationships in communities, build those partnerships, and ultimately launch our programs. So our work is really inspired by this quote, particularly by Maya Angelou. People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And in these conversations, where it's one-on-one or community wealth chats, we want to make sure that people understand that we're listening to them, that we hear them, that we also believe that they have the solutions already embedded inside them, and that we're just there to help that solution come to life. The second thing that we do is co-create. So we design the solution that's inspired by the trust-based feedback. So this is just a concept. This is merely just an idea that we have developed to then get other parties involved. And so we vet that concept by our team, the targeted group, and our potential partners. And then we design a narrative change strategy to complement the solution, because we know that narrative is really key to really amplifying the work that we do. So one example of this is our land initiative. We started the land initiative early this year. It's still being piloted right now. And you can see we came up with a strategy. And we started to focus in, how can we tell our story? How can we make sure that people understand the power of the work that we're doing? And so, meet the Youngs. The Youngs have been together for over 55 years. They grew up in a very small town of Weld, Mississippi. The same area, the same county, which is called Tallahatchie County, where Emmett Till was brutally killed. And they told us about how they met and fell in love and ran away from Mississippi because of the local environment. But something brought them back to Mississippi. It was the land. And on this land, they have over 20 acres of beautiful farmland. They're building an empowerment center for the community. And they're also feeding the community by providing fresh food. This is the narrative that you should hear more about Mississippi. This is the narrative that we want others in our community to understand, that we already have the solutions inside of us. The third piece to our work is connect. So once we create that solution, we then connect with partners and funders, because it takes money to do this. It's really critical that we find aligned funders that really believe in our work, not just today, not for 6 months, but who will be invested in the growth of the work that we're doing for the long haul. And so we have strategically decided to partner with people that want to work with us for the next 3, 5, 7, and 10 years. And that's very hard to do, but we're committed to that. And if there is a resource that our community needs that we don't provide, we're creating a resource network to connect people to those other resource providers. And then finally, we build our own capacity internally through our team, our board, and other community partners by investing in lifelong learning, because we understand that we're in a very challenging time and that we have to be mindful, we have to be creative, we have to be bold in our actions. And lifelong learning is something that we deeply believe in. Another example of how we've been able to really manifest this community engagement model, we created what's called the Delta Creative Business Challenge. We started with this idea that we wanted to really see more African American artists really tap into the local tourism. So our town is about 17,000 population. We see on average every year over 20,000 tourists a year from all over the world. But there's still a huge deficit when it comes to African Americans really tapping into the local creative economy. So thanks to a small grant that we received from Enterprise Community Partners, our good friends at Springboard for the Arts, and the Center for Rural Strategies, we created this project. And we worked with entrepreneurs, artists, creatives, to really help them understand how they can really build a business around their craft. As you can see, we provided other incentives for them to be involved, to make sure that not only did they see themselves as an asset in the community, but the community also recognized the value that they bring. So this is Marla. Marla is an artist. She has provided over 4 paintings for our office. And when people come in, they ask us, who painted that? And Marla never really saw herself as an artist. She just painted in her garage, and now when she comes in our office, she is beyond beaming with joy and brilliance because we created something with her and for her. One part of what we did is created the community business pitch competition and a pop-up shop. This was the combination of the 5-week program that we put on to work with the artists. We wanted to make sure that the artists had an opportunity also to sell their products that they created. Some of the artists included photographers, painters, such as Marla. We also had people that created graphic design companies to really understand the diversity of the businesses that we had. We provided access to capital. We provided marketing and branding assistance to people who had never received these resources before. And so I'm going to show a little bit of video here highlighting the community business pitch competition. Higher Purpose was started in 2016, and we started with the mission to build small businesses and help local entrepreneurs through trainings and workshops. And so over the last 2 years, we've really been thinking very intentionally about how we can enhance our programming and talking with the local entrepreneurs, our partners. And so today here in Clarksdale, Mississippi, we hosted the culmination of our Delta Creative Business Challenge. We've been working with 6 entrepreneurs here over the course of 4 weeks to train them on business plan, marketing, pricing, branding, you name it, to really help them elevate their business idea. Today, we had one of those individuals actually win the competition, and we hope to basically use this opportunity to expand this initiative throughout the Mississippi Delta to help more local entrepreneurs grow their businesses. So as you can see, not only the community was excited, but also the entrepreneurs that we work with. And from that, the gentleman that won the competition has doubled his business. He went from having a few people buy his photography packages, so now he's overbooked. He's turning people away because he doesn't necessarily have the capacity right now to really grow. But that's a part of what we're doing right now. We're working with them, we're building their capacity, and from this community pitch competition, from the Delta Creative Business Challenge, we have created the Higher Purpose Business Fellowship. So we took the same entrepreneurs that we had worked with, we got feedback, we worked with our partners, that same strategy that I just told you about, the community engagement model, and we've created something that's happening in Mississippi for the first time. We're really excited about it, and the other thing that also we're working on is creating our funding network. And so one of the things that we heard as we were developing the Business Fellowship Program was this need for access to capital. And so now we're creating a funding network that's providing capital to entrepreneurs all across Mississippi. Now, we're not a lender, but we have expertise to work with CDFIs and credit unions and venture capital firms all across the country. And so we're aggregating the different kinds of financial institutions in one place and making it available to our entrepreneurs that we work with. So why does this matter? Why does this matter here in South Dakota? You come from a community that you love, because if you didn't, you wouldn't be here today. I love my community, I love my state. And most of us really think about how can we improve our communities? But something was said earlier. There is this negative Nancy committee or negative committee in all of our communities. And I challenge you that despite the circumstances and the resources that you may lack, you're powerful, you're bold, and some of you are beautiful. we can't run away from our problems. We can't run away from our communities. And we have to really dig deep inside of us and be the solutionaries. Yes, that's a word, solutionaries. Because without that, our communities will dry up. Our communities will not prosper. And so you should stay in your community and thrive. And I feel really adamant about something that Fannie Lou Hamer said years ago, a sharecropper from Ruralville, Mississippi. She said these very words. That's why I want to change Mississippi. You don't want to run away from problems, you just face them. Thank you so much.